Hello and welcome to episode 83 of Dorki's Entropia Universe report. Today's episode will cover my avatar progress, activities and investment returns for the week from 21st to 28th of December 2020, and thus it is the last weekly report of this year. I cannot say that I am sad to see this year go away. If 2020 was an emoji, it would be like Sir Patrick Stewart and play the poop emoji. I hope that 2021 will be better for all of you. I wish you all a happy new year. By the way, before I move on to my comings and goings for the week within Entropia Universe, I will go over the goals that I managed to reach this year, as well as set some new goals for the next year. This summary of my old and new goals will take up the lion's share of the introduction. So if you wish to skip this part, timestamps will be in the video description below. Anyway, let's start with the goals that I actually managed to accomplish in 2020. I remember setting a bunch of secondary goals, many of which I have not reached. However, I did manage to accomplish most of my primary goals, like reaching 360k total skills, 240 hit points, and unlocking the commando skill. I think I also mentioned that I would like to reach something like 84 or 85 points in agility, but that it is extremely unlikely that I would get that much gain in my agility. And while 2020 was a really weird and poopy year, some positive things did happen as well. Good example of such a positive thing that happened is the recent addition of the meta tab in Codex and that beautiful attribute challenge mission. In other words, I did actually hit those 85 points in agility and made decent gains in my other attributes as well, although I did fail to unlock the miner skill, since I did more crafting and much less mining than I originally expected. I ended up 1 level and a half short of this goal. I also did not unlock the manufacture methodology skill either. I still lack roughly 5.5 levels in my mechanical engineer profession. Getting that should take about 4 or 5 months of non-stop Explo 1 crafting. And that brings me to my goals for 2021. Manufacture methodology and miner skill unlocks will be my only secondary goals for the year. But I think I will not go too wild with my main goals this time around either. Instead of adding something crazy like 20k to my total skills, I will set my new goal at measly 370k and my hit points goal at 260. It might seem like a bit of a weird combination, but I did factor in the new attribute challenge mission. If I can get a decent amount of ranks in that challenge, I should gain quite a few hit points fairly quickly when I take a lot of stamina, strength and agility rewards. I think stamina gives like 1 HP for every 9 points. Unless people at Mindark nerf the attribute challenge significantly, I should be able to get a lot of progress in it once Codex hits Arcadia, Cyrene and Rocktropia. Anyway, aside from these two main goals, all I will set for myself is to make a profit of 3000 PED by the year's end. I will not deposit anything into the game this year and keep putting aside part of any profit I make towards this goal. The idea is to slowly build up a stack of PED in storage and hopefully it will reach those 3000 PED by the end of 2021. So I guess I will include the size of that stack in my weekly reports, starting with the next week's Entropia Universe report video. The main reason why I decided to do it this way is to provide me with strong motivation to stop doing the stupid crap like clicking the recycle blueprints and hunting mobs I should not be hunting. With some luck and enough willpower, I can stick to the smart play and build up those profits rather than profit for a few weeks and then piss it all away doing something unwise. And if I do manage to accomplish this goal or exceed it, I will put it on my pet card and hit that sweet withdraw button on either the 24th of December or on New Year's Eve next year. What do you think about that? Does Dorki have a chance, or will he fail miserably like a little bitch? Let me know in the comments below, and now let's get into my avatar progress, activities and investment returns for the week. I hunted down some small Cyclopses as well as a bunch of Arges or Arges, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Cyclopses. I did those Arges one-eyed mutants for the daily here in ancient Greece. Those daily missions reward a clothing blueprint of player's choice with 5 clicks on it, and there is a choice between mining, hunting and crafting variant of the mission. To be honest, I would say that crafting and mining options are likely to be cheaper. 50 mining drops should not lead to any massive losses and actually end in a profit over a long term. I cannot say much about the crafting one since I looked at it, came to a conclusion that I lack the required materials and promptly forgot about it. I was not in a mood for mining, so I went with hunting, and I must say that Arges Cyclopses do seem to have rather poopy loot compared to the basic small Cyclopses. I think I will stick to the mining version of the daily mission whenever I feel like doing it in the future though. I plan to slowly collect a bunch of clicks for all of those clothes and click them at some point in a fairly distant future. I say distant future because I do not play actively all that much right now. I spend most of my free time playing Cyberpunk 2077 and Stellaris. In Entropia, I usually just stand at the crafting machine and no-life the Explo 1 blueprint, and when I do feel like playing, I usually just do a bunch of Cyclopses and bugger off again. I do need to look around for a decent solo sweating mob here in ancient Greece though, and start mapping the place for mining resources like I mentioned in one of my previous episodes. I once saw someone mention a sweating circle on some Minotaurs, so I will eventually go check out that mob to see what sort of HP they have and how much damage they do and whether or not I can sweat them solo. If not, I will look around for a different mob, perhaps planetside on next island. Either way, I am sure it will not surprise you that I have not reached any interesting milestones this week. By the way, I did a small mining run with 5 D-class amps on Arcadia on 24th. The loot was somewhat decent in the end, although I kept swearing like a sailor most of my run. By the way, my forearms look like Popeyes after all the rowing I do when I get lonely in the evenings. Back to actual Entropian mining though. I was hunting for radiolyte on my Christmas mining run. I failed to find any even though I was in the right area for it, but that is rare resource mining for you. Sometimes 100 or even 200 drops can be too small of a sample to find any radiolyte at all, and sometimes you end up with lots of it. Also, I did do 10 clicks on Explore Recycle 2 blueprint on Calypso. I do not remember what day it was other than it was a shitty day. At least the return from those recycle clicks was not too bad, only about 100 paid loss after markup. But that run, which you could have seen earlier in today's episode, nicely illustrates how dangerous are all those expensive to click blueprints. You can have upwards of 60% success rate on a short run and still lose enough to be considered by many a significant loss. Of course, I am talking about regular players for whom 1000 PED is a fortune, not people who can afford it easily and still have a ton of spare cash left. Anyway, let's go over the Deeds&Share payouts and prices for the week. I will start with the Arcadian Deeds. Arcadia Moon Deeds did fairly alright with 3 payouts of 1 peg per deed, although they do seem to still hover around the price point of 32 to 35 PED. I don't think this will change much in the near future, not until they start paying out more and keep it up for a while. Meanwhile, Arcadia Underground Deeds paid out 7 times over the week for a combined total of 9 peg per deed. They keep selling at about 86 to 89 PED most days, with weekly markup info claiming they are worth 86.73 PED. Personally, I think they are a bit pricey, but I am a cheap mofo, so my opinion on this does not really matter. Crystal Palace shares paid 1 peg per share, which is still less than I would hope for from them. Their price still seems to reflect their fairly poor performance as of late. The cheapest stacks of CP shares available for purchase this morning were priced at 18 PED and 30 peg and 18 PED and 35 peg respectively. Right now I am glad that I sold almost all of my CP shares back when they were close to 20 PED each. Although, as I keep saying in most episodes recently, I do expect them to bounce back once the Merry Mayhem business is over. Either way, Ancient Greece shares did not surprise me at all this week. They did not pay anything at all, and I would say that it was to be expected after they paid out that 1 peg last week. The cheapest stack of Ancient Greece shares available on the market this morning was priced at 9 PED and 9 peg. I still keep checking on them occasionally in case someone starts selling them at less than 7 PED again, but I guess those opportunities are gone for good now. To conclude, this week was somewhat okay for me when it comes to Entropia Universe. It ended in a small loss for me, but it was small enough that I expect to make it all back over the following 7 days. I set some new goals for 2021, most notable of which is reaching 260 HP, and of course my goal to amass at least 3000 PED of profit and not deposit at all. I wonder how long it will take me to hit that target. Hopefully it won't take the next decade, but just a year. Arcadian Deeds did fine this week, with AMDs paying a total of 3 peg per deed and AUDs providing revenue of 9 peg per deed. Shares were a bit of a wet fart though. CP shares paid only 1 peg and Ancient Greece paid decal. Although, fear not, Dorki is down there with his Explo 1 blueprint. I am sure that will make a massive difference in payouts over the next few weeks. By the way, if you are wondering whether I went bonkers, no, I was being sarcastic. But I guess that every little bit and every extra avatar doing his cheap or not so cheap stuff in Ancient Greece should help. And on that note, I shall go edit today's episode and upload it before I fire up Cyberpunk 2077 or Stellaris once again. I wish you a pleasant remainder of the day and a happy new year. May the next year be less poopy than 2020. Please let me know any of your Entropia Universe related thoughts in the comments below, and also please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you.